Joey.
Yes.
What's your topic?
So I want to talk about what scarred you as a child.
Oh man. Okay.
So this
Get
all
your notepad
started. I know, right? Who has the laundry list? I know one of you does.
All of us.
This all started as a conversation on Facebook of what I think it was what horror movie scarred you as a child. So I immediately responded with the Blair Witch Project because. So here's the deal.
I was gonna say, how old are we?
I'm 28. Calm down. So my family really likes horror movies, and so I grew up watching stuff way earlier than I probably should have. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
And so my mom took me to go see Blair Witch in theaters. I was probably like 9 or 10.
In theaters. Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, my dad was on a business trip, so it was just my mom and I.
Oh, jeez.
And so we went and saw it. Terrifying.
Yeah.
It was super scary when it came out, and as a kid, not okay.
Real quick to dial this back, especially for you as a kid, but then even I was in high school, and I remember my friends had caught the sci-fi special about the Blair Witch that totally framed this thing as this is real footage we found.
Yeah, this was before found footage was a genre.
They totally, I think they started it, not even jump started. Okay, just making sure. And it was that thing where there was a legit argument of like, is this real? Like nobody knew what the fuck was happening for a while, and then Heather or whoever from it showed up in a Steak and Shake commercial like, oh no, this is fucking fake shit. But like at the time, I remember being in high school going to see it, and it was like, what the fuck did we, you know what I mean? Like, and it was only showing in like the small indie movie theaters, which we didn't know about because the internet wasn't a real thing at the time.
I actually had a screener of that movie. Like someone brought a VHS tape over and we watched it at my house when my parents were out of town. We were throwing a party and someone was like, I got this awesome like thing is totally real. And I was like, but I was not a child at this point. I think I was 15. So I'm like, oh, whatever, it's not that scary. I'm going to go drink more. It's pretty much that one. No, as far as when I think of horror movies that scarred me, I think of like the classics.
Well,
like,
she's not done with their story.
I have a story.
I apologize.
We were just jumping off on the fact to set it up for young people like Tim, that this was a thing where we didn't know it was real or fake at the time.
Yes, it was. So we saw it. We went home. I was like, oh yeah, Dad's not home. We can have a slumber party. So I'm sleeping in my parents' room. All of a sudden, a car alarm goes off. And it's going off forever. And we're like, that's so weird. And like back then, car alarms weren't really a ton of things either.
The witch drove here.
So it's going off forever. And my mom's like super pissed. So she goes out to the front windows and looks. And it's coming from our car. And our car doesn't have an alarm. So she's like, uh-oh, this is not good. So I'm like in bed with the dogs. Like, I'm not going out there. So she went out and she unlocks the car. And the car horn is like stuck. And it's just blaring. And she's like, what the hell is this? So she like pounds on it and tries to get it to be unstuck. And like eventually like it unsticks and it's all silent. And then she looks up and in our neighbor's house, she can just see like the lit end of a cigarette. And there was just some guy, like they had rented a bunch of rooms out to random people. So he was just there smoking a cigarette, didn't say anything, didn't offer to help.
How close is
Next
he?
door.
Oh, so in like your houses are close?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like in San Francisco. So it's super
shit.
close.
Okay, fuck.
And just like my mom like just sneaks back inside like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And of course it's like when my dad's out of town,
of
nothing.
course.
We're all just there and it didn't ever happen again, or maybe it happened one other time. But what are the odds that happens the night that we see
the
Blair
scary
Witch?
movie? Yeah.
And terrifying. So I've never really recovered from that.
Wow. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it for sure. Yeah. Now you were scarred.
Oh yeah, I mean
what movie?
A lot of movies scarred me when I was younger, but the classics like the Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street was the one that scarred the shit out of me. So that series all the way up to 3, and then I was like, I think I'm done with this. I don't need to watch these anymore because they were really scary when you were a kid. And I think I was like, I must have been like 4 or 5 when I saw those. So yay, Mom, thanks for letting me see that.
Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of on another level though.
It's freaky
when it comes to those things because like
it made you scared to go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And like it was some real fucked up. The guy was a rapist.
Yeah,
like. It was a way darker, more fucked up thing than child rapist than even the like Friday the 13th or whatever. Where it's like that's a bit more of a monster.
Yeah,
sure.
Or like Halloween,
you
know, that type of stuff.
I just recently went back and watched Friday the 13th because I'd never seen it before.
The original one with Mrs. Voorhees.
With Mrs. Voorhees and I forget who. There's a couple. Kevin Bacon's in it too, which is weird.
Really?
I was like, I didn't know Kevin Bacon was in Friday the 13th. Wow, there's 2 parts that are actually kind of scary. The rest of it's so bad. It's so terrible that I can't believe anyone was ever like, this is a good film. But what are you going to do? I was more scarred actually emotionally by like non-horror films. I was more scarred by things like I saw RoboCop in the theaters. And I was like, it was the first time in my entire life where I'm like, I legitimately should not be watching this movie. The first, do you guys remember the first scene where he gets blown away piece by piece?
Yeah.
And he's like, and the guy's like, like making fun of him. They laugh, and I'm like, that's so fucked up. And I looked, I'm like, why am I in this? Why am I watching this? And then the part at the end where he's like, and fucking stabs him in the neck, and then blood gushes onto his face, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be one that I talk to a therapist one day about.
Yeah,
it's terrible, but yeah.
I'm with you. The horror movies were never the thing for me. It was always the other shit. Like there's this movie called The Witches. And there's a scene
where
in
the kid gets turned into like a little,
where the kids are getting turned into mice.
Yeah, it's Angelica Houston. It's like
they drink this potion thing, and then they fucking violently transform into mice.
Yep.
And it's the most fucked up thing, Kevin. If you could try,
it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Is it really?
I'm sorry, it's on Amazon Prime.
I could not get over. Yeah, this is the scene.
Which is scary scene is what it's listed as on YouTube.
No, this does look familiar.
Yeah, scroll forward. It's when they go into the auditorium and they're giving the panel.
This was one of those.
Yeah, and they take the fucking kid up and use him as an example.
I do remember this. Angelica Houston.
Yeah.
Is that her?
All right, go for it.
Here we go.
This shit, man.
If you're listening at home, Angelica Houston kind of looks like Mrs. Adams.
She is.
Oh, you can't hear it? You can't hear sound?
No, she looks like I said. I'm trying to describe it for people watching at home.
When they start happening, you need to hear the sound.
There's a fat kid who looks like me without glasses.
Give him the sound now, Kev.
Okay, this is scary. Well, now he's not even. Oh, there he is. Now he's reacting. Yeah, all the witches are laughing. Is this a witch convention?
Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah, great. They can hear it. I'm sure that's really conveying the story to them.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
This kid's spitting out smoke right now.
This
green
is terrifying.
smoke.
This
no.
shit.
Yeah, that's bad.
And I'm all just laughing.
I totally forgot about this movie.
Yeah, because they're all witches, right?
Oh wow, fuck yeah.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this movie terrified me. It was like this and like Time Bandits, movies like that where you were like, this is just really twisted shit.
Well, the thing is, the 80s, everything was practical, so it's all fucking weird ass puppets and shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it made everything way.
It looks super real.
Like Poltergeist going to horror movies.
Poltergeist.
Like there was so much shit in that movie that like was all practical effects. Like there's that guy's face that like explodes in it.
Poltergeist.
I don't remember that.
I remember the kid with his braces coming to life and
All
going
the
up
shit,
there.
it's just like it
the
was
mother
so
getting
creepy
put onto the ceiling.
Because stop motion is also
Yeah, that's really creepy.
inherently creepy.
Yeah.
So, oh man. But yeah, the witches was the thing that I was like, fuck my life. There's a lot of other things that like traumatized me and like scarred me, like Mufasa's death. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's not his death. It's Simba being down there being like, Dad? No, fuck you. Stop. I'm tearing up right now. I can't handle this shit, guys. In World of Color at Disneyland, every time they fucking do it, the music stops and then they just, Dad? Like, fuck you guys. You know how to.
Right in the feels.
You get me.
I know, man. I know.
Hey, Tim, what about It?
Oh,
It was scary.
It
Just as
was
a
like
concept.
fucking.
I did not like it.
I feel like we watched that too young. That and Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the
were too
Lambs
young
is
to
still
watch.
terrifying. That's definitely one that got me, and I was older when I saw that movie as well. That's one of those where you're like, okay, that's freaky. That's
No,
really
there was
freaky.
also in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Large Marge.
Large Marge.
Terrifying.
What the hell? You know, you
Tell
just
him
fucking
Large
the
Marge
movie's so
sent
fun,
ya.
whatever. That
Yeah, that was really
Holy
crazy. I was
shit.
like, that did not need to be in this movie at
Yeah.
all. That was terrible.
Oh my god.
For me, it jumps to mind into the horror movie vein of The Gate. You remember this flick?
Yes, I do
Where
remember The
It's
Gate.
like the parents go away and they
What
leave
was
the
the ones
older
with the little
sister.
creatures that
Yeah,
came
little
out?
creatures, but what always stuck with like the house is like the gateway to hell or whatever, so all this shit happens. But there's creatures that are creepy enough, but then there's this, the kid grabs something and gets an eyeball in the middle of his hand.
Yeah.
And so like while this is happening, he takes a piece of broken glass and slams it into the eye and blood gushes out. Like that was like, no thank you. I can't
don't
fucking
like
deal with
that.
that. Every time I went to Aunt Bonnie and Uncle Jerome's, they had the Thriller VHS. That was Thriller, then followed by like a 20-minute behind the scenes with I was gonna say Max Landis,
John Landis.
Max's dad, him walking through with Michael and all stuff, and the zombies, just chilling out and dancing and talking, being normal people. And it was one of those things of, I would ride out watching Thriller and being terrified to then get to that, to like have like the fear ratcheted down of like they're normal people, they're
They're just
real.
chilling.
Like the kid, them coming out of the grave was all these like practical effects and stuff, which was awesome. But it never failed. And then when I would watch Thriller and be fucking freaked out.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end when she's got nowhere left to run and they all come in around her, hands out like the zombies, that's when I'm like, ugh.
Well, that's what was crazy about it. Was like, it was those things when you were a kid. that just kind of proved to you that it didn't always have to be a happy ending.
Yeah.
Like with Thriller, the reason why that was so freaky is remember the end of it is he turns back and looks at the camera and he's got like the
Yeah, the
werewolf
cat eyes, the cat eyes,
whatever they are. And you're like,
That's
you're like, oh, he's
aggressive.
gonna kill her, he's gonna kill her.
Just see you next Wednesday.
It's the same with like, did you guys ever see Time Bandits?
I don't know. I probably did, but I don't remember it.
Dope.
Time Bandits it's a Terry Gilliam movie, I believe, and it was like this really weird British film about a kid who like goes on this crazy adventure with these yeah, it's very strange. But at the end of it, his like house blows up and his parents turn into like lobsters, and that's just the end of it. And the kid's just like the kid's just staring there, like standing there. And so I was like, "Where are your parents?" And he's like, "Where are my parents?" And I looked, and they're like lobsters. And it's like this kid's totally fucked. And I'm a kid watching this, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like this poor kid. Like what's gonna happen?
Oh, Mona was in it?
Yeah, it was weird. It was one of those. This was like during that time period where like they didn't mind making movies like this with the
Just fucking totally
Dark
ruin
Crystal.
your life. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, this is terrifying, and this is not art. This is just fucked up Muppets. But,
Well, it's like this, Labyrinth, Neverending Story,
Labyrinth,
all
yeah.
of those. that
Never
are
Ending
just
Story
like-
fucked me up too.
That was sad.
That
When he,
horse?
horse in the quicksand or mud or whatever it is. Yeah, that was one. I've said it before on the show, so I'll keep it short. But Harry and Henderson's,
Ugh.
like when
Oh,
I'm
it's so
the first
good.
movie I ever cried at, where I'm just sitting there watching it, and when John
Lithgow.
Lithgow slaps someone, he's like, "I don't love you. Go into the woods!" Like just burst into tears or whatever. I was like, and then going to sleepovers at friends' houses, we'd always watch horror movies, and I was always into it and fine. But Amityville Horror like freaked me the fuck out of like being afraid of a house and like ghosts on that level. And I'll never forget like holding it together enough, not feeling sick watching the movie at Mike Boylan's house. And then it's summertime and going home, days, whatever, weeks later, and riding my bike up to the garage and going to put in the code to get in and looking through the window and seeing two green eyes looking back, but they were the garage door being reflected off of a thing back to the light. But it looked just like when, scariest scene in Amityville Horror for me is when the girl's talking to the window and the mom, and this is the original Amityville Horror, the mom comes up, she's like, "Who are you talking to?" "I'm talking to Jody." "Where's Jody now?" "She's outside the window." They look over and it's, I think, two red eyes like looking back or whatever. And it's like, that's fucking hell.
Yeah, that's
shit.
just freaky.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice just in general. The
Oh,
whole
really?
Fucking movie. I mean,
I
I was
love
I was a little
Beetlejuice.
kid, so
Oh,
like,
man.
there was so much shit that happened to that. I'm like, no.
Beetlejuice is
I'm
kind
not
of a
okay
fucked up
with it.
movie.
Yeah.
No, it's a
But-
super fucked up movie.
Entirely.
But like,
First, I'm sorry.
go
The
ahead.
first movie I ever went to with my mom that I'm like cognizant of. I vaguely remember going to a Bambi, but I was such a Ghostbusters fan that any movie that had a ghost vibe to it all, I was like, I'm in. Like, this
Yeah.
is it. And I remember going there and I had made my own Tobin Spirit Guide out of cardboard and I'd cut the Beetlejuice ad out of the paper and put it in there and stuff. And I went there, I was totally enjoying it. But it was like, I had been so skewed by Ghostbusters that we had an answer to this.
sorry, let's,
We had an answer to this.
Sorry, everyone. Let's just go.
It'll be okay.
Let's just go back. Let's dial that back for 15 seconds. You made your own Tobin Spirit Guide.
Yeah.
And in that Tobin Spirit Guide, you decided to put an ad for Beetlejuice in
Well,
it.
it's because from the newspaper they had the Beetlejuice thing. So if I'm listing who all the ghosts are that I know,
Got it,
Beetlejuice
okay.
has been discovered. He needs to be
Who
put
else was in your Spirit Guide?
It was Slimer, of course.
Yeah,
Come on. I think it was,
naturally.
I'm buying the real Ghostbusters figures. I'm cutting them off the back of the box, putting them in there
Okay.
too and stuff like that. So I had a pretty robust spirit guide going.
you still have this thing?
I don't know.
Be great B-roll for the.
That'd be
for the
awesome documentary.
eventual
Yeah. Well,
documentary.
when you get over to big old Greg Miller's attic, you're gonna have all sorts of shit to go
Oh,
through
I
and
can't
dig
wait.
through and find it.
I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Find all
Let's
the,
do that trip soon.
sure.
Soon.
The smoke monster in Fern Gully. Fuck that guy.
Fern Gully in general.
Well, Fern Gully is another one of those things where it's like, it's all fun. It's all cool. Except it's not at all. And
Yeah.
it's horrifying.
Is that the one with like the mud monsters?
The smoke
or-
monster,
okay,
yeah.
Maybe. Okay, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
it's like, oh, God, that shit was no
And
bueno.
it's thinly veiled as some child like
Well, it's Pocahontas,
cartoon.
just in a different,
Yeah.
setting. or
But it was way
avatar.
scarier
It
than
was fucking way
Pocahontas.
scarier. Kids movies, man, they didn't give a fuck.
No.
Return to Oz didn't give a fuck.
the
Dude, that
wheelie
shit
The wheelie
freaks me
dudes.
out.
Oh, and
I
the
love that movie,
room
though.
with
And
all
it was,
the
uh,
heads.
it's
no.
what's her name? The
Yeah.
girl from The Craft, right? When she was young.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh shit, it is.
Is that Angelica Houston too?
No, not
Or is she just the witches?
No, she's just witches, and he was right. She was Morticia Addams in the Addams Family as well.
I stumbled into that one. I was just saying she looked like
Yeah.
Morticia Addams.
You're like, well, yeah. I gotta look this character up. I'm sorry. I gotta look
No,
this
it's fine.
up.
Yeah, Return to Oz was fucked up. I mean, even as a premise, it's just like, all right, so remember Dorothy from Wizard of Oz? Yeah, she's fucked up. And once she came back, it wasn't all good. They were like, you're fucked up.
I don't know what Return to Oz
Return
is.
to Oz was
Oh.
I'm just going to say late 1980s movie.
I want to say 86.
Something like that.
1985 is when it came out.
What,
Return
so
to Oz?
Dorothy went back or she'd already come back?
No, it's after Oz. And so she's it opens with her getting electroshock therapy.
Yeah.
to like fix her from all her fucked up visions of telling stories about the Scarecrow
Gotcha.
and Tin Man and whatever. And this is still a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And then a storm happens, and it's not a tornado, it's just a fucking storm. And she ends up going back to Oz, and like the Scarecrow's like the king or some shit. I don't even remember. But like things are really, really bad. And it's super dark, and there's a lot of weird claymation shit. And there's these like guys that have wheels as their hands and feet.
It's supposed to be like the Tin Man.
Horrifying, and their heads like turn all the way around.
Okay.
Which is never good.
No.
And then Ozma is the queen of the Queen of Oz. And her head comes off. So she just has this
I don't like
hallway
that
of a
one
bunch
bit.
of heads
Yeah.
that she can take different faces and put on. The whole thing's fucking terrifying.
It's awful.
Sure.
But
I
what
do
a
remember
dope ass
this movie.
movie.
I didn't know this movie
I gotta go
existed.
back and watch
I just remember The Wiz.
Oh, The Wiz is fucking
Wiz is
also
fucking
awesome.
dope. Yeah, all
So
right.
dope.
Diana
Very
Ross,
different
Michael
movies.
Jackson. Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm
very, very
watching that.
different
That didn't
movies.
scar me at all. That was awesome. That was a good one. I got scarred, of course, by Pirates of the Caribbean. We've talked about that before.
Oh, the ride.
Yeah,
got over that
that's good.
ride.
No, not the Johnny Depp movie. Well, yeah, I went and I conquered it. Last year after VidCon or something? I don't even remember. I once got scared on a big slide. That one got me at a fair. You know how they have the big slides.
Dude, yeah, those ones. You okay? Yeah, right. All right. Yeah, they have the big slide. You ever been on those big slides where you like ride the sack
Oh.
down
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it goes like this?
Bless you.
That's
Thank
freaky.
you.
That can be freaky because you might.
Yeah.
You're
Well, the whole
scared
thing
you're
is I
gonna
went down on the potato sack thing, and it was one of those where I wasn't tall enough. And the guy was like, come on. Some carny was just like, yeah, come on up. My parents like, yeah, he can take this. And I went down the big slide, and I hit the ground and just burst into tears.
fall. It was just terrifying for
They
you.
started,
too
learning,
fast.
they started learning. Yeah, they started learning that. Of course, I was scarred by. This is documented in the Patreon exclusive that I'm sure. Oh, no, whatever. The Patreon exclusive episode with my mom, where I was so afraid of throwing up that I would carry a bowl around with me in case I threw up. And then if they took the bowl away from me, I would get so ratcheted up that I'd throw up. So it's like a self-fulfilling throw up bowl prophecy.
God.
Your
Yeah.
mom is a saint.
They put up with
She
a
is
lot. They
saint
put up
for
with a
putting
lot.
up with all
That
that.
is ridiculous.
My God. My God.
So-
It's the same thing of like when I'd go out to eat with my dad. Like or even go out to eat in general. It'd be that thing of on the way back home for a ride that would probably never be more than 20 minutes or whatever. I would get so worried that I'd have to poop, and then they'd have to pull over so I could poop somewhere. And it was always that thing of like I was terrified of doing it because I didn't want to inconvenience anybody. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you know,
end up pooping.
my dad's a good dad, but I mean, he had a little bit shorter fuse, I think, than my mom did on some of this shit. It was like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, fine.
Damn, man, you gotta go before you leave the house.
That is so funny. The thing that I'm referencing here is one of the list videos I made at IGN was the 13 most traumatizing moments in kids movies.
Yeah.
So go watch that because I go in depth on most of the things I'm talking about here. But I want to give two more shout outs.
Sure.
One to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The end of it.
Did he talk like this?
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's fucking rolled over by the steamroller and like his fucking eyes pop.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
How about the
crazy.
dip in general? Where they just throw these poor cartoon animals in the dip and like burns them to death,
Yeah.
like acid like melts them.
But the last thing, Kevin, I need you to pull up a YouTube video here.
Dip.
Search for Watership Down.
Oh shit.
This is the most fucked up kids movie in existence. You think you've seen bad? If you haven't seen this, you ain't seen fucking shit.
Does this have something to do with mice?
It's a bunch of little animals like rabbits and like it's kind of like an animal farm style story where it's like
Is
a
it also
more
a
adult
book?
thing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those things where it's like they use animals to tell the kids the story. But try to find like the fight scene.
Watership
That
Down
should be it.
violence.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I remember this.
Watership Down.
Like this shit is so fucked up.
We're looking at a black screen. This is Watership Down. If you're listening to the MP3, we thank you. It says one of the bloodiest.
Skip forward, Kev.
Oh, no, we're skipping forward. I don't know what it's going to say. Most graphic film. Here we go. Rabbits are fighting. Rabbits are fucked up and fighting. Holy shit!
It looks like Banicula. Did anybody
Yeah.
ever read
Yeah.
that?
Rabbits are
God.
bleeding. There's a dog here.
Just fucking
Rabbits
that
are getting
rabbit's
fucked
day
up.
up.
These rabbits are getting. Oh my god! There's a cat attacking a rabbit. There's some shit deer over here. He probably needs to get shot. No, that's a rabbit. He's okay. This is a rabbit who got shot with an arrow. It looks like he's slowly dying. Fucking, he's really hurt. He's dying bad. There's ghosts inside of him. There's rabbit ghosts. These might be sperm. I can't, ladies and gentlemen. The journey. Is it a sperm trying to escape?
No, I think they're just.
They're just normal rabbits trying to escape, but they all went in the hole at the same time.
What
so-
the fuck? Really?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
real? I thought that was some kind of drug sequence.
No.
Damn, why would they show that? What
real.
is this movie about?
Are they getting attacked by other rabbits?
Yeah, dude, it's so
well, rabbits.
crazy, man.
It's a rabbit
Rabbit on rabbit
society.
violence.
Rabbit society. Here we go. We got some kind of infection of trees. Oh, I don't know what the hell's happening. That's a fox. That's another thing. This
horrifying.
Is, I'm dead.
Absolutely
All right, we get it.
Yeah.
These things suck and they're terrifying.
But yeah, what the hell? That's a kid's movie.
Kids shouldn't be watching it. Sorry? You're talking about gangs?
No, I'm saying that it's like about a couple different like.
Oh, rabbit
One
gangs.
rabbit gang has to move into the territory of another
Gotcha,
one.
But they
Gotcha,
represent,
gotcha.
real people.
Right,
not
right,
rabbits.
right. Yeah, kids are dumb and
They can't handle that shit.
no, you can't
I can't handle
okay.
that shit.
Can't
I'm a
do.
dumb kid, though.
You are a dumb kid still. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Something else.
Yeah.
E.T. Terrifying.
Really?
Yeah, the part where they come in and they're all in their hazmat suits and they go take him, and then he's like in the water and he's all like weird and gray.
Yeah.
I also remember being at Universal Studios and riding the ET ride and like getting this giant scratch on my leg, and yeah, I know, scarred me
Coulda
for
sued
life.
him.
Clearly,
Coulda sued him.
I know,
Could be
right?
getting Disneyland passes right now.
Universal,
I don't know anything
that
about
too.
it.
But yeah,
Has Disney not bought ET yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's
Still
not on the way
working on
though.
it. Yeah.
Then we'll get a yearly
One
ET
day.
movie.
Oh my
Annually.
god, that's what the
ET.
world needs. ET
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's been an ET 2.
There has to have been. I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't think there has been either. ET's one of those weird franchises where it's like, how did that not have an animated series and like?
no, there was an
There was a-
animated
yeah.
one.
Oh, there was.
Yeah. Something happened for sure. There's
it's
been
also
more
Spielberg
ET.
though, so I feel like he.
Sure.
There's a bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know.
But that was back in the day where I think, and this is obviously, don't bite my face off. I know there's a million examples of the opposite.
Yeah.
That was back in the day where I feel like in the 80s were, let's make a cool movie. All right, we made a cool movie. Let's make something else.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Let's
but,
not fucking sequelize Goonies to death.
But I feel like then the 90s were about making cartoons based on like the
Sure.
Beetlejuice cartoon.
Sure,
and
Back to
things
the
like
Future.
that. That's-
Yeah,
exactly. So,
There was an ET cartoon. I can guarantee that.
well, good. That makes sense.
Kevin, can you double check me on that there's an ET cartoon? I'm on it. Thanks, big guy. Yeah.
So we just stalling, or are we going to move on to the next
No,
topic?
it's fine. You ready
So-
for the next topic?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We finally made end slates. You can click here to subscribe to youtube.com/kindafunny. You can click here to subscribe to youtube.com/kindafunnygames. You can click here to go visit our Patreon page, or you can click here to watch a best of playlist. I have 8 seconds left. So, hamma lamma ding dong, how do you like it?